How you doing, boys and girls? It's the Morning Gardener Show. And the title of this video is Gardening in Heat. And the reason why I named it that is because I had a decision to make today, which yesterday I did not go out and I did not go out and um, water my garden due to the heat. And now today it was a choice where I had to go out because after missing that day, the garden got just hotter and they had no water, and so I had to go out. Everything was fine. I think I have one tomato plant. Oh, hello, how you doing? Jay, how you doing? Um, I had one tomato plant that I was losing due to the fact of the heat. It's amazing. When I went out and I looked at it, I said, yeah, it's dying because of the heat, and I gave it some water, so it should be fine. But if not, again, I go back to what I said before. Always grow more than what you need. Grow more than what you need, because if you do that, then you're going to be fine. Um, that being said, I found some squash on the property that I'm going to use for my meal. Yellow squash, summer squash, and I do like a stir fry with some onions, that sort of thing. So it's pretty good. So everything looks good. Let's see what else I want to tell you. Watermelons. Oh, did I get all the watermelons? Yeah, I did water all the watermelons. I did what they call a foliar feed because it's too bushy back there with the weeds and everything, and the plants growing to be back there trying to do a side dressing. So I do a foliar feeding. It works for me in my circumstance because, as I said earlier, it's difficult to get back there now. Everything's grown, and you don't want to be walking on watermelon and cantaloupe vines. So everything looks good, folks. I have some tomatoes coming on. I have corn coming on. Um, Already got cucumbers coming on. The plants are big and healthy, all of them. None of my plants appear to be skinny and hungry. It's due to the fact of the way I take care of them. But I got out there today, and earlier part of the day, I got out there and fed everything. So I was happy I got a chance to do that. And when you're getting out in this heat, make sure you dress for it because it can be dangerous. It can actually be dangerous. Most people suffer from heat damage, don't even know that they're suffering from it. They just think that it's a little warm, but wearing a wide brim hat, staying hydrated, using sunblocker, things like that, get it done, but be safe about it. There's a ton of videos up on YouTube to show you how to deal when you have to work out in the heat. I had air conditioning going in the house, so when I immediately come in from watering, um, I can go right into the air conditioning. Um, Water hoses, when you use them, sometimes the water could be in the water hose cooking really hot before you spray it. So spray a little bit out and then kind of test it with your hand and see how hot it is coming out. Because you get 100-degree water if the sun is directly on your water hose, and you can find out real quick that you just burned the plant with using scalding hot water from the sun. So try to let the water run a little before you put it on your plant. And that will be determined how long your water hose is. Oh my goodness. I'm just thinking about all the things that are out there growing. They're doing real good. Peaches are sizing up real good. Um, my pears are getting bigger. Um, Cherries are done. I have some beautiful cherries out there, so they're doing real good. Now, on that note, folks, before I go, I want to say, take care when you go out there to garden. Make sure you do what's got to be done. Take care of your plants. Remember, don't just put them in the ground and figure that's it, and you're done with it because work is continuous. Uh, when you got your plants out there going. Now in this heat, the okra is doing extremely well. Like I said, the hotter it gets, the better the okra loves. I forgot about the mention of okra because um, you kind of forget about them when they little small plants, but they're coming on pretty good. They're putting on some beautiful big leaves. Um, I grew enough for myself, not a whole lot of okra, but I grew enough, and the okra is doing well. And what else? The hotter it gets, the better the okra likes it. Um, I got the watermelons growing in direct sunlight, anywhere from 6 to maybe 8 hours sun, and they're doing quite well. Oh man, I can't believe how pretty the my Cherokee purple tomatoes look. I can't wait to taste some of them Cherokee purple. They look pretty, folks. The plants, I mean the plants. Even though I got a late start on them, I might be okay. Uh, Hello, how you doing there? How's everyone? And I just wanted to say that, get that said because it needs to be said. How's everyone? I appreciate all of you for coming in. Um, like I said, the garden is the only thing I think about when I was at work today, and it started to get hot around 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. here. I said you got to get home and get that garden taken care of because you didn't water it yesterday, and the thunderstorm that they said uh, was coming through only rumbled, but no water. So, and like I said, I'm doing a foliar feeding because of the simple fact it's too hot. It's too much. I have too many weeds around to be digging through the weeds to get down to the base of the plant to try to do a foliar feeding. Uh, so to make certain that they get fed, I'm using a foliar feeding, which is easier for me. That's the only reason why I'm using it. All the plants are healthy and great and green. They're doing good. So that being said, I'm 100% on plants being fed. Um, and some people tell you, "Oh no, don't water in the heat of the day." I have never ever had any issues from that. Never. So it's under the theory that the water droplets are going to act like a magnifying glass, causing the water to heat up and damage your plants. But I've never had issues with that ever. Hello, my God, hello. Hello. So my garden is healthy, and my potatoes. One of my containers of potatoes is completely ready, but it's so hot that I'm not going to be out there dragging this 100-pound container over to my. Um, it's called where I have my God, what is it called? Oh, my potting soil. I have a lot of potting soil now, and I use it over and over again. So this year it's really fresh, but it's designed to stay moist. That's how I designed it. So I will keep the potting soil in one area and use it because when you buy these soils, folks, don't throw them away. I seen a store, a Walmart one day. There was a worker out there, and he had all these dying plants that were in the store. They only die because um, they don't um, they don't water them. That's the only reason why they die. So I see about they throwing all the containers away. And I yelled over there. I said, if I knew you were going to throw them away, and he just looked away because he was upset that in fact he had to do that kind of work. He was just tired. But if I would have known, I'd have came by, got me a heavy trash can, a bag, and I would have filled up all of those and put them in the back of my SUV because that potting soil is expensive And some of the stores use a pretty good potting soil in their plants. So imagine you getting all those pots, you empty them in there, plus the plastic pots that they were in could be repurposed, could be reused. So it didn't happen, but I always thought about that. He was just dumping each one of the containers in a dumpster from a rolling rack, and he just emptied one at a time in there. So me, I don't throw that kind of stuff away. It costs money to kind of keep replacing it. I feel good because I got a lot of value out of everything I bought this year. A lot of value. I saved a lot of weeds. I use those as fertilizer when I do the chop and drop. Um, that helps out with fertilizing my garden. And when this weather turns over, and we'll be back in the winter before we even know it. So just enjoy the summer because it's going to be here before you even know it. Summer's going to be gone, and you'll be like, oh God, not back to the cold again. Yeah, so enjoy yourself. Um, if you have a boat, take it out. If you have a car, try to take some trips, do some fishing. If you like to crab, go crabbing. Do it because summer will be over before you know it. Um, I still see some of the videos where people went crabbing and they got real nice catches. You know, that's something you don't need a boat for. You can do it right from the bank. Now I'm just thinking, folks, is that it's a beautiful day today. Uh, it's a beautiful day today. Um, I'm going to honestly say no. But you got to remember what I'm doing. Bugs don't eat my plants because I have so many weeds around. They wind up eating them. I mean, I might get one or two bites on my plants, but that's it. Um, when you get, I mean, my corn, for instance, I have a beautiful, corn stalks. And I would think one of them has like one bite on it of something that bit it. Um, hello, uh, garden realtor, and I simply um, don't have a lot of bug bites. I mean, my plants this year have more bites than they did last year, but there's no bites. I mean, like you imagine a whole what they call that plant, cucumber plant. I got a cucumber plant. Look like something might have killed it, or might be killing it from the roots. And I do have those big fat white grubs in my garden. They're gonna get your plant sometime, or it could be a cutworm. They usually just cut your plant off right at the soil line. Um, they're still out there. But for the most part, folks, my garden is unaffected by insects. Um, and I tell people how to do that. You do as much as you can to keep your plants completely out of stress. I mean, from food, water, and poor soil, because when your plants are fed and your plants are watered, uh, and you got the soil loose, so they're getting oxygen in the soil. That's why I keep preaching over and over again about those manure forms. Find one somewhere, find one, and get it in use. And when you start using this manure form, your whole world will open up. You can say this morning gardener guy knows some stuff that I never learned before, that I didn't get from the other channels. My stuff is growing now, and he was right. And I keep preaching that because I was one of those people that nothing grew, that my plants were growing slow and they were poor. And I kept wondering, what's going on? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. What is going on here? And I was using a shovel. I removed the soil from the hole, and I would put the fertilizer in the hole and mix it up. I would use the fertilizer they said use. I'd mix it up. Then I would add some soil back to the hole and put the plant on top, and then put the soil around it, tamp it in, and the plants would settle in as you watered it. And then when it rained, and it would pack right back down tight again, and then the plant would begin this process of slowly dying, meaning that it would grow so slow that you would get one or two, maybe three tomatoes off out of the whole year out of that plant. I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Didn't know what was going on. What's happening? Why is this taking place? And I looked around and saw that I wasn't the only one. I look at all these videos on YouTube, and I see these people are suffering from the same thing I was going through. Small plants, skinny plants, very little productivity. That's what they were getting. And I was looking at it, saying, wow. And then I started not looking at the plants, and I started looking at the soil. So when I started looking at these videos, I started focusing in on the soil. And I saw all of them had one thing in common. The soil looked poor. The soil looked heavy. The soil was clay. Then I started doing some research on Google and found out that majority of gardeners have clay soil. The majority of soil is clay that's on the planet. And I realized they're dealing with clay soil, trying to grow plants that were hybrid or bred in a laboratory condition to be timid. The plant is soft and weak, if you want to call it that. And they're not strong like weeds are. Weeds are like muscle bound heavyweight lifting. That's what they're like. Their roots are tough. If you pull one out of the ground and just study it one day, look at the roots. They're tough. They're wiry, for lack of a better word. They're designed to burrow into that heavy soil. Your plants are not. If you look at the roots on your plants, they're not like that. So what you got to do is loosen that soil up. I use that manure for it only goes down 8 inches. So once it goes down 8 inches deep, that's 8 inches deep, folks. That's 8 inches deep in the soil. It's down in there. All of it's loose all the way down. Once you get it that loose, you put up one plant in a hole that's 2 feet across, folks. You make the biggest area for those roots to penetrate. You're trying to grow roots, folks. Trust me when I tell you this. If you got a little small hole like this that you did with one of those spades, whatever they call them, hand spades, and the hole's this big, but it's 5 inches deep, your roots will fill that up. The rest of the soil around it will be hard as a rock, and you got no room for the weeds to grow. The roots to grow. You got no room for them to grow. And the whole year, you wonder why this tomato plant appears to be struggling. Why are the bugs eating them up? Why are the bugs eating my corn up? Folks, let me tell you what I did. I want to throw this at you and get you to just try to take this in. I planted an entire garden this year on a pretty good sized plot. And I didn't use a shovel not once. Not once. Once I got hooked on the fork, I don't want to use a shovel anymore. Shovel is not what I want to use. So I don't use a shovel anymore. Shovel I can use for other things like filling in holes around the yard that the animals dig or whatever if I want to fill that up, so I don't trip in the holes. But the Manure fork does such an incredible job. I want to do a video on just using the manure fork, show people how I use it. I have okra growing in the yard now. That's beautiful. It's coming out beautifully. I grow enough okra every year to do two things with it. One, save the seeds. Two, grow okra. Um, the seeds that I save are for my next year crop, and I do save enough for my next year crop because I never know what mood I'm going to be. Do I want to grow a lot of okra? Do I want to grow a little bit of okra? But I always wind up growing a lot of okra. Well, not a lot. I always grow enough, but I'm going to increase my supply of okra growing because this year I was concerned about how many seeds I had and actually were they viable because okra seeds are not always viable. So you got to put more in. And it's something else I learned. Corn is that way. Corn is that way. Now, I'm going to do something different this next year coming up. I plan ahead. I'm not growing watermelons the way I did this year. Not doing them this year. Not like I did this year. I'm not. I'm going to put in a pot, 5 inches around. I'm going to put about 10 seeds down. And I'm going to empty that out in my hand and set the whole thing into the ground. And that's what I'm going to do. And the reason why I'm going to do it that way is because I feel more comfortable growing in an area that I'll take the fork and grow and increase the area about 3 to 4 feet wide. And I'll set the plant down in there or the plants and grow a patch of watermelon as opposed to 1 or 2 or 3 plants separate. And all you got to do is feed that area heavy. And whatever ones survive, survive. Whatever ones don't. Boston, I think they call it Boston Gray or Grays. That's a pretty good size watermelon, 25, 30 pounds, I guess. I put down some stars and moon. I put down some, what do they call them, other ones, sugar babies. And think about sugar babies. Sugar babies, you put enough down in the area, it's going to, you got to put it in an area away from everything because you got to figure this, I'm putting in 10 plants. It's going to take over that area. I put a stake in the center of the area. So I always know where to feed at. Because that's what I do. Once I put that stake in that area, I always feed right there. That's what I do. I feed right there in that spot. And whichever plant survive, whichever ones don't. Because I don't need the weak plants anyway. Don't want them. Let's see. Brown put down, I have over 400 plus okra plants. 400. That's a lot of okra. What kind of okra is it? I use that something called bent back or something like that. Yeah, okra. I like okra, and I always the seeds I have that I use this year are the same seeds I have over 5 or 6 years. Same seeds. They grow. I take some of the seeds and save them for next year. Now the reason why I do that is because when okra is familiar, the seeds are familiar with your soil, they tend to grow better. So okay, some are red, some are green. Okay, I never tried the red ones, but I guess they might try to cross. Okra's okra, but yeah, I mean, yeah, saving those seeds is a plus. The same thing go with tomatoes. Like if like I will take this year some of the biggest and the first grown uh, tomato plant. I will eat the tomato, but I will save the seeds. And the reason for that being is that number one, seeds are expensive as hell. Number two, um, they will grow a strong plant once they become familiar with the soil. Let's see, I'm growing some only for plants. Okay, my red ones do not make it this year. Did not make it this year. I'm sorry to hear that. Okra. Why is everybody doing okra? That's all right. I love it too. I love it too. Okra is really great. I'm enjoying this house because it's really, 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 really cool in here. Nice sleeping weather. I've been wrestling with a cold lately, and I still got my stuff done in the garden because it's got to be done. It's just got to be done. It's just that simple. Oh man, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Went out there in the yard today and actually looked at stuff quicker, did things, did some like I call them professional moves. I got everything done in record time because it was too hot to be messing around out there looking at things or filming things. It was too hot for that. No, no, no. There's nothing wrong with talking about okra. Not at all. That's what we're here for. No, I didn't mean it that way. What I mean is that I didn't realize that many people like the okra. I know that I do it every year because it's one of my favorite, plants to grow. And like I said, once I bought these okra seeds from some store online. It's a big store online. Um, I can't remember. Rareseeds.com. Seeds are high as hell there. But I guess I want to say I've always gotten quality seeds from them. Um, but they're high priced. I'm just saying like it is. So I bought some seeds from them, and that motivated me to keep the seeds. Was that once I put them down 6 years ago, I liked the okra. I like how they grew. I liked that it was a high percentage of them that turned out. This year, um, I kind of neglected and kept seeds from like 3 years ago, some from last year, and some from so the ones that did well was the fresher seeds. So I sprinkled all of them on the ground, every last one of them, and I got a nice little take on them. But uh, you know, they are planted. I feed on a regular and make sure that they do well. Well, actually, all my plants I do like that. I think I've eaten all my raspberries because I saw some out there that was very well ripened, and I didn't want them because I don't like them when they get real soft. When they turn dark red. I don't like them. I'll eat them, but they're not my favorite. The only plants that did well with what they call them, that did well was God, what are they called? Apples did not do well this year. I got maybe two apples out of all my apple trees. I think how many apple trees I got? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11. I think I got 11 apple trees, and I got two apples out of all of them. And I got to figure that out. See if there's something I could be doing better. I know the trees are young, and the year before that, I got one apple tree, or was it two? It was one apple tree that produced the majority of the apples. I mean, and it did well because it had like 8 or 9 apples hanging off of it. and the birds started eating them, and it was just crazy, you know. Oh, thank you very much. My grapes, I did look at them today. I did look at them today, and I was wondering where they ripe, but they just don't look ripe. But they are so pretty. My grapes are so pretty. And all I did this year, folks, that was different to them was this. I used a different pruning technique before they even started growing. The thicker branches, I cut them back to two buds. The little kind of thin ones, I cut back to one bud and allowed them to grow out. And when they grew out, they started producing their grapes. I removed some of the clusters so that one branch, one vine didn't support a whole bunch of clusters because it's nature to just put on a whole bunch just to be on the safe side. That's what it does. Um, so what I did is I cut everything back, and then when it created the clusters, and then the vines started growing out real long, I went in front of it, clipped them off, because I said to myself, I don't want to grow a whole bunch of vines. I'm in it to grow clusters, grapes, and then when the clusters, now you know how grapes grow, and they grow elongated, and they have these little ones at the end. Well, when they were young, I pinched those off. I don't want those little inferior ones. I just pinch them off and let the bigger ones grow. So, from my perspective, pruning is the key to my success this year. I fed the plants, never really did that before, never really fed them. Because I was like you, a lot of you are. You go out on the internet and you get a whole lot of misinformation. Misinformation. Um, you get certain things from your grapevine when you don't feed them or you grow them in what they call poor soil. The grapes will either be very concentrated, they may be very thick skinned and everything. Depends on how you want to grow them. But if you water them and you feed them and you take care of them, they will grow lush, big. And when the vines start growing all the way out here and all the way out there, I clip them suckers back because they're going to keep growing. And the plant's going to keep concentrating on that vine growing. So if I wanted to use its energy in another way, then I just clip the vine off of the end of it and let it send its energy into those clusters. I mean, that's how it works. Same thing go for peach trees. They put on a whole bunch of peaches. Like my peach trees went crazy this year. Every last peach tree put on peaches, and peach trees dominate when it comes to all the fruit trees. Um, so I pull all the peaches off, and you say some say you put them like that 6 inches apart. I put them 8 inches apart because I had enough peaches to do that. I want them 8 inches apart because when you do that, you're gonna grow bigger peaches. So that's how it goes. All right, folks, this has been the Morning Garden Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. And stop by again. You know me. I'll be here and trying to give out as much garden information as I can, and I appreciate doing that. I love doing it because we need to feed ourselves. We need to take care of our families and teach them how to feed themselves. So this is the Morning Garden, and I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And remember, keep on growing. Thank you.